So hi guys, how you doing? Come on. Yes! Finally some action. Good. So my name is Jakob. I've been a developer for 10 plus years now. School, university, all of that. Then got hooked by startups, like the drug that keeps you running. And recently I started another company that's all about marketing and dev, and that's actually what I want to talk about. Because when I ask into this room, like, who loves marketing people? Wow. Okay, some rare species over there. We have to talk later. Yes, we have to talk also. Good. So why is that? Why is developers and marketing such a thing, right? Why is it two different worlds not meeting each other, right? Pardon, again? They lie. Ooh, that's a good one. We'll come back to that one. So, yeah, as I said, we started a company recently called theVentury. And all what we do is we bring IT and marketing in the company together. And we work with customers, like corporate customers, especially startups, to bring marketing and IT into their company. And what I discovered all the time is when you talk about marketing, people think of those kind of people, right? And that were probably true a couple of almost decades ago, right? Those were people designing abstract campaigns, you obviously know that's Madman. Abstract campaigns, stuff that is not really handleable. Maybe they even lie, right? And then they pitch the customer that concept. And then that customer has to execute the concept, track it, and all of that shit, right? But that's no longer how marketing works, right? Because marketing has an interesting story behind it for me as a developer, right? In the beginning, we had very, very one-directional communication with the customer, right? Imagine you have a TV spot out about your company. How do you track how many people are watching that? It's almost impossible, right? You calculate that during that time of the day, so-and-so many people are watching, and then so-and-so many people tune into that channel, and then so-and-so many people are actually watching. So it's kind of like that bullshit thing that we as developers really hate because they weren't able to actually provide us with the data, with the individual stuff that we need to work with. Right? So tracking on marketing side was a big nope, right? And then enter the digital era, right? Enter something like Google Analytics. And suddenly marketing was able to fulfill that initial dream they had of tracking stuff, right? Make measurable what is measurable, right? And this is where basically a lot of people call the big shift in marketing basically started. Because the moment you can track customer down and the moment you can actually track their behavior and stuff like that, you can make better marketing. You have to stop lying because you can provide the user with what they actually want, right? And another big shift came up, which was self-service. So if you think about it, the possibility that you can go to Facebook and start a campaign there with 3 clicks on your own, from your own company, doesn't require you to have a general agency anymore. You don't have to have an advertisement agency that runs or books the advertisement slots for you. You can do it on your own. And this is a pretty fundamental shift to what marketing has become back then. And I think for us developers, and I'll come back to that later, it is really important that we acknowledge that marketing in that regard has changed, right? There's this really cheesy saying, but I think it's very spot on here. The madman actually becomes the math man, right? So a lot in marketing nowadays is statistics, it's mathematics, it's like calculations, predictions, right? And this is a fundamental shift we all have to acknowledge and we all have to work with. So how is it on our side, right? On our side, we have the classical rockstar ninja guru developer, right? That's the best picture I can come up with this shit, right? So we also move forward pretty fast, right? We all have new possibilities, new technologies, right? Look at what Facebook announced yesterday, chatbots. Yeah, we'll come to that later. Amazing technology that enables amazing things potentially, also with risks, right? And we gain more data than ever. I mean, you all know that story. I'm preaching here to developers. The interesting part is, we're not collecting the right data from time to time because we're collecting the data that's useful for us as developer. And that's a big problem because the data that lies left and right to us may be super important for other people. Cool. And to say it with the word of the Black Eyed Peas, so where's the love in this love story, right? So the love basically comes when you combine the data you have at hand with the capabilities of the developer, right? So this slide basically says it pretty fine. You have creative marketing, you have experimental and data-driven, and you have automation and engineering. And you already see where each part of the love story comes in to make the love in the middle, right? The marketeers provide us with creative marketing. We have kind of the experiments and the data together, and we as a developers, we provide the automation and engineering. And all of that together comes something really beautiful, something that is scalable, something that is fully automatable, and something that has the creative work of the marketeer in it, right in its DNA. And that makes it so powerful, right? So those worlds that were drifting apart, developers not understanding marketeers, marketeers not understanding developers, actually could lead to a real love child in that middle here. Because if you think about it, the way we handled product was, we as a developer, we're awesome, we build shit, right? We build it, and then we give it to the marketers, and the marketers, they should market it, right? This is the classical way we think about those kind of product releases. Why is it flawed? It's flawed because the marketeers always come back to us, right? Everyone experiences that. They come back, and they're like, you know what? I need that additional feature. I need that tracked. I need here a little modification. Even though we've built the product, we're already there, right? But they come back begging at us, and that's the problem. That's the problem, we having to build something that we know the marketing people will later come back and screw with us, right? So what it actually should be, it should actually be that we build and market together. And this is something that you really strongly learn in a startup scene, that you start marketing the moment you have something, and you develop hand in hand with the marketing. And that's scary. That's scary, because we as developers, we have to get in touch with marketing stuff. But trust me, it's the other way around already. Like the marketers, they have to get in touch with like development. They're also really afraid. But if they work together, something amazing can happen. And I'm literally talking about writing marketing into the code, right? Not just sit next to each other, but actually writing marketing into the core code of the company. Need a couple of examples? Right? To like visualize it a little. Airbnb. So what Airbnb did in their famous action was they started a company, they looked at where the customer were, they found a website called Craigslist, and then they said, you know what? All our customers are there. Let's make an automated email system, pretty straightforward, that sends every listing on Craigslist and says, look, I'm mailing you because you have that one nice listing at Craigslist. Want to come over to Airbnb? We are the #1 selling platform, blah, blah, blah. Right? So they realized that by automation and combination with marketing, they can actually grab their customers and bring them in a really good hack forward. And what they did then was, on the other way, they enabled their users to post the Airbnb advertisement back on Craigslist. Craigslist has no API. They just hacked the form and allowed people to submit their requests to Craigslist. They really hacked into it. Another good example from YouTube, right? How did YouTube become such a big player? A lot of reasons, but one of them was they enabled you to embed their videos with an iframe. So you can upload it to YouTube, and then you can still have it on your own website. And because people come to your website, they see this video was provided by YouTube, right? So by enabling the technology of the iframe, which is really pretty simple, right? They made a marketing hack out of it, where you on your site feature YouTube. By the way, that's the same story with Facebook. Facebook started with the small widgets that you can put on your website. The like button, all of that is basically to have another source touch point for their marketing sales. Right? So one example from our own company. So we developed a platform called Simple Wish a couple of years ago that we basically cooperated with Austrian Airlines now. Austrian Airlines is using that platform in production since like half a year now. So the idea is you choose a gift, you invite people to chip in, and then you make a gift. And it's basically a crowdfunding campaign, right? It's a crowdfunding campaign that you give to corporates. But what is the beauty behind it? The beauty behind it is that when you start a gift, you spread it in your social network. And with that spreading, the service of Austrian Airlines and their special deals get spreaded too, because you're promoting them, right? It's kind of a friends-to-friends marketing. And they're reducing like lots of cool stuff, reduced customer acquisition costs, right? A lot of people know about it. Increased purchase value, because if you crowdfund your holiday flight with your friends, which a lot of people do now over the platform, you actually upsell a lot of value, right? So a lot of stuff like that happens and is inherent in those kind of hacks where you actually bring it forward. And if you like take a closer look, you really find that all of them together combine those programming and marketing skills, right? It's all about SEO, analysts, programming, data, digital marketing, metrics, exactly what marketing and developing is all about, bringing all those together. Cool, so how does a really good person in that kind of field looks like? Because I think that's important to visualize who you are to work in here. Well, so if you go for a SIM configurator, and you would configure your SIM like the perfect hacker, right? You have basically the mindset of the marketer, right? This is something that marketing people bring to the table. You have to have the risk-taking and the heart and the spirit of an entrepreneur, because you will fail often, right? Developing and discovering those kind of hacks takes you a long time. It's a lot of iteration processes. And you have to have the capabilities of the IT developer. And that's a skill, right? When we're looking for people, we're mainly looking for IT developers because they are easily to train on the marketing, then marketing people are able to be trained on the IT developers, right? So you guys are actually the better marketeers the moment you realize how marketing has changed and what you can do with your capabilities. Well, and to give that all, like, because that's hard to explain, you give it like a fancy name, right? You call him a growth hacker, right? Because you are anyway close to IT and hacker is kind of cool, you kind of name it growth hacker. So this is a typical growth hacker, like mindset of a marketeer, heart and spirit of an entrepreneur, and the capabilities of the IT developer. And yes, that's a freaking unicorn. Finding someone like that, good luck. Right? This is the best of the best. This is a good IT developer that's able to look beyond his skill and realize, wait, I can do awesome shit in marketing, right? And this is the cool part. So let's have a look in the future. Like, where is this all going, right? Where is everything developing? So one thing we got a preview yesterday, right? Bots. Bots in the messaging platform. Bots are nothing new. I mean, you all know of that. But it's new that it's enabled for the masses now, right? It is there, and you can do really cool shit with it. And we even heard in the F8 press conference yesterday that it's also capable of having some marketing aspect, right? Maybe paid for it, maybe we'll see, right? But every interaction on this technical interface, right, is something that is really, really important. And don't get me wrong, marketeers are not able to use that. They have their pictures, they create their self-service thing, and then they like gone. This shit needs an IT developer, someone with an entrepreneurial spirit who also knows marketing. This needs a growth hacker, massively. And it's 1 day old. Cool, right? But also think about possible pitfalls. I mean, we got a pretty cool example of a pitfall of a bot, right? Trey here. That was actually a pretty fun time. What else is coming up in the future? Virtual reality. It's a huge thing, right? I know, for example, a startup that's working on those little... Do I have a mouse here? Okay. On those little advertisement things here, where you can put a Pepsi in your virtual reality. That's cool. No marketer can do that. You need an IT developer to do that, right? But it's cool because you can provide in action, you can bring those brands in there, and you can make cool stuff with it. Right, so this is where it's basically going. And to sum up the slides, this is me. Get in touch, say hello. And if you think you have the actual power to be more than just a developer and you can look beyond your actual skill, talk to me and say hello. And with that, I'll close. Thank you. Right. Give you a couple of minutes, Q&A, right? We have 2. So what about ethics and social responsibility? Ooh, good one, good one. So when it comes to ethics and social responsibility, I actually trust a developer more than a marketeer, right? Because like an IT developer knows the possibilities of what he's building, or he should know it, right? He knows what it's behind there. He knows where it's going, what capabilities, what he puts in the product. So actually, I'm more happy to have someone who knows that stuff build it than someone who says, you know what, I have no clue what that is, but it would be awesome to do this, right? So I'm actually looking more forward to having more IT guys in marketing because they want to provide value. I've hardly ever seen an IT developer going, let's sell shit, right? It's more like, where can I provide a value? Where can I actually help the customer? And yes, maybe I can target the person, but then it's for its own good, and it's not very drastically. How to make sure that you provide value for the user when combining marketing and dev? Well, that's an interesting question. So the actual value comes that most of the time the customer has a lot already. They have probably a really good dev team, but they're not tracking the right thing. So we have a lot of the time more the methodology, and we ask the right question. This is nothing new, right? This is helping them iterate, and then we go and execute projects for them. Or they execute it for themselves. If it's bigger project that go deeper into IT, we help them build it, right? Especially with startups, we help them actually build prototypes, marketing campaigns, and bring those IT in there. But we do that over iterations. So we have a really, really dev approach where we actually know we have to iterate over some features and find out what's the best way of doing marketing. And that's the new cool thing. Who earns more, devs or marketeers? Well, that's an easy question. Look in the law how much you are required to pay for a dev or a marketeer. I think the answer is pretty forward. The dev earns way more, right? So unfortunately, because I think a lot of the stuff marketing people do, and the moment I got involved in that scene, it's actually pretty awesome. Their creative processes are really, really cool. The way they find stuff, the way they analyze stuff, the way they have the possibility is fascinating. We try to pay them equally because we think everyone's equal important for the love story that we provide as a company to our services. Any more questions? Otherwise, I'm always there, happy to have a chat about it, and enjoy the day.
Thanks, Jakob, for the talk.